Hello.
Yes, Bala.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Sorry, suddenly went for a crash.
No issue.
Okay, we'll start the class. So, where were we?
Buyer and seller.
Okay, buyer and seller. Okay, is there any other term you're going to use for the buyer in your industry? I'm very sorry for it, guys. Please try to take my apology. Suddenly, I could see a blue screen. So, any name is given other than the buyer, main contractor, prime contractor? Any name is given to the buyer? Am I connected with you, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Any name is given to the buyer other than what we are saying, that main contractor, prime contractor, buyer, supplier, seller, service provider, subcontractor, contractor, client, owner. So now you can see the relationship between the buyer and seller. Now, seller B can supply the complete 100% what the buyer demands him. So buyer needs 100% things from the seller, but seller is not able to deliver all the 100% commodities. Only 80 to 70 to 80% of commodities will be supplied by the supplier, the seller. So the seller is requesting the client or the owner, can I take a subcontractor? Can I just subcontract that 20% which I'm not able to supply? Now the seller goes to the supplier C and is going to take that 20% what he's not having to supply to the buyer. Now the seller B becomes a buyer and the seller C becomes a seller, right? The subcontractor becomes the main contractor, right? Now the seller or supplier we're going to call as a for the party B. Now we're going to call him as a the client or the owner. The subcontractor becomes the main contractor to the seller. So you have various kind of relationship between the parties. So the first process is making you to define the procurement management plan. So you are able to bring your procurement decision into the procurement management plan. So what kind of procurement decision you going to keep in the procurement management plan? What kind of decision you are able to bring into the procurement management plan?
Whether we can go for buying or not, whether we can go with the seller or not.
Okay. So is there any other way for us to buy from outside? Or we can make the commodities or the service or
Make or
goods.
buy decision.
Hello? Make.
Yeah, Bala. Make or buy decision.
Make or buy decision. Or whether there is anything for us to rent or anything we have to do the lease. So this is your procurement decisions, whether to make or whether to buy or whether to rent or whether to lease. On what basis you are able to make yourself or buy from, make yourself? And what conditions is making you to just buy from outside? And what condition you are making a rent and what conditions you are entering into a lease agreement? So you need to define, we have to buy because the life cycle, life cycle cost of that particular commodity will be more once we are making inside, or we don't have the expertise in making that. We don't have the resources or the resources are working in other projects. So we need to just buy from the supplier. So that's the reason we are going outside to bring a supplier inside, right? Make, you can't expose your secret rights. You can't take anyone into a royal family for you to do the refurbishing work. Or some company will not allow any external supply to come inside. They'll be using their own people to make for themselves. Right? So a rent will be a short-term agreement and lease will be a long-term agreement. If you are able to go to Saudi and the company is asking you to stay for 3 months there, you got your international license. Rent a car is feasible for you or leasing a car is feasible for you. Hello? The company is asking you,
Rent a car is okay.
Okay, rent a car is feasible since you're going to stay
Short
for
term.
only 90 days, right? If you're going to stay for 1
Yeah,
year, if you're going to stay for 1 year, rent a car is feasible or leasing a car is feasible for you?
leasing.
Leasing a car, right? So you are able to keep a various kind of procurement decision into the procurement and management plan. And apart from this, you are able to define what kind of contract, if you're going to enter into a contractual agreement, what kind of contract will be suitable for this kind of procurements. So widely in the world, there are three kind of contract available. One is a fixed price. So what is the other name given for fixed price? Anyone? Fixed price,
Fixed bid or
or we call this one as a lump sum contract, right? Or we can go with a cost reimbursable contract, or cost reimbursable contract can be called as a cost plus contract, or having the combo of both the fixed price and cost reimbursable, you'll be having a hybrid. Most of the IT or adaptive environment will be going with a hybrid contract. So hybrid will be having a nature of a fixed price and cost reimbursable. So this can be called as a time and material. Time and material, or we can call this one as a T and M, or we can call this one as a time and means. So according to the global market, if you want to just, if you're entering into a procurement relations and you want to fix with the contractual agreements, so make sure that what kind of contract will be helping you for based on the requirement of the client or based on the project, right? Or based on the environment. So the fixed price contract or lump sum contract is always a favorable to whom? Who's getting favoritism? Fixed price or
Buyer.
lump sum will give the favoritism to whom? The
Seller.
buyer.
Seller.
Okay. Please take fixed price or the lump sum contract. Always it will favor only the buyer organization. Buyer. The client will be getting a complete advantage. The scope is not dynamic. The scope of the work is not as dynamic. The complete scope is fixed. Everything is fixed. The price, the profit, everything will be fixed. So it is not expected any scope changes in between your projects. So the client will make the contractor, he will be the person to give the complete design, he will be the person to give the complete scope of the work, and you'll be just negotiating with the supplier or the seller. This will be the profit or fees will be paid. And when we will be releasing the payment to the supplier, everything will be discussed by the buyer. If a supplier is accepting the condition of contract which is brought into the papers as a clauses, he has to make his signatory and he has to accept the contract and he has to start doing his service. Irrespective of any changes which is coming from the market, any commodity price will go up. Any cost escalations or inflation is happening in the market. All the cost associated risk will be incurred by the supplier. If you are accepting this, so the buyer will make the supplier to make the signatory, sign the contract and start doing the service. So fixed price contract, always the risk will be there with the supplier, not with the buyer, or the seller will have the risk. The buyer will not have that much of risk. So always the fixed price or lump sum will favor the buyer organizations. Once you are coming to the cost reimbursable or cost plus contract, the scope is keep on evolving. There will be a scope changes. The consultant does or the client doesn't know how to do the work. The complete thing will be given to the contractors or the sellers. So the scope of the work, the design, everything will be done by the contractors and they will take the approval from the client and they start doing the service. So this will favor this type of contract will give the favoritism to the suppliers, the sellers, the service providers, the vendors. So how the contract will form? My voice is audible, right? I'm connected with you guys, right?
yes.
Okay. this particular contract, why we are saying that it is going to just do the favoritism to the to the suppliers, to the contractors, what all the money which you're going to spend for my project. So this money, you can raise the invoice. You can send this invoice to the accounts receivable to the organization. They will receive your invoice. The accounts verification department will verify with our team. Once the verification is done, according to the payment terms and condition, when we need to release the funds, we'll be releasing the funds. So all the invoice which you're going to submit, that will be verified. It will be considered as a legitimate invoice. It will be a legitimate invoice and it will be honored. And top of that, what fees we promise to pay, that will be done according to the dates which is promised from our management. So the more the invoice which will be supplied, or the more the invoice which will be submitted by the supplier, the seller, every invoice should be honored, and it has to be paid by the client or the buyer. So always a cost reimbursable will be having the risk, the cost associated risk will be with the client, not with the contractors. So anyone was working under the Qatar Foundation contract? Anyone was working as a main contractor under Qatar Foundation?
No.
Okay. Complete maximum the Qatar Foundation, if you're going to get your contract, all the contract, most of the contract for the Qatar Foundation will be coming as a cost plus or the cost reimbursable contract. So it will be giving the favoritism to the contractor who's going to work for the client or the buyer organizations. Right? Once it is coming to the hybrid, both the party will be having the risk, cost associated risk, but most of the risk will be falling on the buyer, not on the supplier, not on the seller. Most of the cost associated risk will be incurred by the supplier as a buyer, not with the seller or the supplier. Right? So the times and material, or the T&M, or the time and means contract, it's a hybrid contract. If your examination point of view, they'll be asking most of the question, what kind of contract will be used if the scope is keep on evolving and the contractor doesn't know, the client doesn't know, and you can't use even the predictive approach. So you have to switch over to the adaptive approach. So what kind of contract will be suitable for you to use in these methods? Once you are doing the predictive approach will not work out. So you are going into the adaptive methods where the scope is keep on evolving. There's rigorous changes in the existing scope. So what contract will suitable? What you need to advise to the management? So the times and material contract should be advised to the management. Is it clear or not, guys? Is it clear or not? Hello?
Yes, Bala.
Okay. Now, what happens if the fixed price contract is used for the long-term projects? Because you can see the fixed price will not be a favorite contract for the suppliers. So supplier doesn't have any project to do. The management will push them to do a business with a client organization, at least for them to have some, they need to get some money for them to meet a daily expenses. They need to run the show. They need to run the business. There is no project. So they don't have any other option other than to accept the fixed price condition of contract. They're making their signatory and they're accepting the conditions and they start doing the service. So how the supplier will get the benefit for the long-term projects? For the long-term project, how the supplier will get the benefit? They are not getting not even one single rupee or single real as a profit. Everything is coming as a break even. Sometimes the break even also is not able to come. Simply they enter tied up with a client and they're doing the service. They're not interested to work, but many penalty clauses are there. So they doesn't want to enter into that conditions. They doesn't want to put themselves in danger. So they are accepting all the condition of contract. They start performing the work to the client organizations. But sometimes the supplier will wait for a chance to expose they are not so interested to work with a client organization, since this contract is not giving any kind of benefits. According to the contract language, please note down the chance which the supplier is waiting for to convey that they are not so convenient in working with the client, or they are not so convenient with this kind of contract. Can you do any kind of modifications, or the contractor will wait for the client to do some modification in the existing scope of work? So they are waiting for the chance to meet with the client to expose them. They are not so feasible, or they are not so interested to work in this kind of contract. So please note down, this kind of term is called as get well. So the supplier has to get well. So they are waiting for the chance to expose themselves. They are not so okay with this kind of contract. They are not getting any kind of profit with this kind of contract. Get well. So once the client is going to receive this kind of thing from the seller, okay, what we can do, we can sit across the table, we can discuss what favoritism we can do. So what the client will do, okay, it's a long-term project. Since the commodity price we need to take into the consideration, only for certain commodities, we will allow you to produce a fresh invoice based on the price, based on the latest price in the market. So the long-term project will be benefited by fixing your modifications. So what you need to do, fixed price contract will be modified by adding something called economic price adjustment, EPA. Please take this information. Economic price adjustment is something, a modifier that will be modifying the original contract. So the contractor or the seller is having some relaxations, not for all the commodities, like for cable price, the steel, the brick, the cement bags. So this will have the price fluctuations. So depending upon the price increase due to inflations, due to currency exchange, due to gold exchange, gold rate gold price changes. So taking all this consideration, they need to modify with economic price adjustment with a fixed price for the long-term projects. Or sometimes the client will say, okay, the price is fixed. The price is fixed, but I will modify something called incentive fees. So this becomes FPIF. So what all the things you need to perform to us as your duty, you need to do your service, we'll pay you the fees. On top of that, if you're going to satisfy us, like if you are keeping the schedule under the control, or you're not spending too much, you're keeping the cost and you're making some profit. So we'll just do one thing. What money which is we are going to save as a profit, we will have a ratio 70-30, 60-40, or we'll give you 50-50. So on top of your fees, which is promised to pay to you as a contractor fees, we'll pay you the incentive also, depending upon the sharing ratio, profit ratios. So the original fixed price contract is getting the modification by bringing something called incentive fees. So they're going to add an extra clauses in the contract papers. Incentive fees will be added. So the sharing ratio or profit ratio is this. So the client will take 70%, the contractor will take 30%. Is it clear or not, guys? Is it clear or not? Hello? You are there? Hello?
Yeah,
Yes,
Bala,
sir.
yeah.
Okay. You're there, right?
Yes.
Okay. Or sometimes the fixed price will be modified by bringing something called award fee. So this becomes FPEAF, fixed price plus award fee. Here it's completely a subjective. So this has to come from the prerogative of the client organization. You should not demand. If you're going to minimize your expenditures, if you're going to save some money, or you're going to give the earlier delivery, you are able to deliver before the deadline, we can save some money. Sorry, we are satisfied on your performance. So we will honor you by providing you a gift. So the gift can be any gift they can give to you. It has to come from their own prerogative. It has to come from their own preference. You should not, as a contractor, you should not demand for cash. The condition of contract is clearly mentioned. You can't take this one to the court of law by making an argument with the client that you need only the cash gifts. No, any gift will be given, even the cash will be given, but the preference has to come from the client if you are satisfying the client with your performance. Is it clear or not, guys? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now the same thing can be done for the cost plus, because you need to restrict the contractor on submission of his invoice. More the invoice will be submitted, everything will be verified, and everything will be honored, and everything will be paid. In order to restrict that supplier is spending too much of money, you're going to just use your you're going to bring some modifier in the original contract. You will be using award fee, C cost plus award fee, or you're going to make this one as a cost plus incentive fees. Right? And some countries, which is a very illegal, what they do something called CPPCF. It's illegal. You should not practice this particular kind of contract, especially in the US market. If any vigilance is they are able to know that you've gone into a contract and you brought a contract called between you and your contractor, CPPCF. Cost plus percentage of cost fee. Cost plus percentage of cost fee. So what the client promises to the contractor, will pay you the contractor fees, will pay your profit. So you'll be getting your payment in this like once in 2 months or once in 3 months. But on top of that, the total money which you're going to spend for the project, because of the expenditure has to come from the contractors, you will be getting this reimbursement. How much money you're going to spend in total for the project, you will be receiving 10%, or you'll be receiving 15%. So you'll be paid for his profit, plus if he's going to spend 1 million for his project, you'll be getting his profit. So for 1 million, if the client is going to give you 10%, so how much money he is going to take apart from his fees, apart from his profit, in addition to his profit, in addition to his fees, 10% will take, right? So you'll be getting 100,000 extra, or you'll be getting 150,000 extra. So this kind of contract is illegal. Is it clear or not, guys? Hello?
Yes, Bala. Clear.
Okay. Now the third contract, which will be T&M, times and material, which will be a hybrid in nature, which will be favoring most of the time to the contractors, not to the client, or not to the owner, or not to the buyer, right? So now what happened here? Why this contract is used? The contract is used because the scope is keep on evolving. The scope is dynamic. The scope is dynamic, and it's used for staff augmentations. You don't have that kind of expertise. So you need an SME to work in this kind of project. So the client organization is not having the SMEs. So in order to avoid the staff augmentation, they will enter into times and material. So now how the client will defend themselves in making the control on the money which is spent by the supplier, the client has to give the assignments. So what the contractor will say, I will use a 10 unit of resources, right? 10 unit of resources, and you need to pay $100 for each and every unit of resources. So per day, what is the charge? What is the invoice amount? Per day, we'll be using 10 unit of resources, and you need to pay $100 for each and every unit of resources. So what is the total money which will be invoiced by the contractor and submitted to the
$1,000.
$1,000. If the client is not giving any kind of assignments, Even the client is not giving the assignments, the unit of resources which is brought to that particular project will sit as idle. Even they are sitting as idle, it's not our mistake, it's your mistake. You need to give the assignments. So we can't do anything. So we'll raise the invoice. We brought the resources. You need to utilize the resources. So what the client has to give, the proper assignments. He has to avoid, there should not be any kind of over expenditures by the contractors, and he has to make a ceiling that don't try to exceed more than 10 unit of resources. If you want to use more than 10 unit of resources, come to us, take the permission and get the approval, then you can use the extra resources and give us the cost, how much it is going to cost us. And don't try to make the resources to work 8 hours per day. Only 8 hours, we will not give you any kind of overtime money. You should not raise your invoices for any overtime. You need to do only 8 hours per day. All the resources should work from your side. 7 hours you need to give the productivity, and 1 hour that will be utilized for the bio break and the lunch break. So all total 8 hours, including the lunch and bio breaks. You have to make sure that your resources are working for us, not more than 8 hours and not more than 10 resources per day. Is it clear or not, guys? Is that clear?
Yeah. Yes, Bala.
Clear.
Then what you're going to define into the procurement management plan, you are able to define your procurement related metrics. How to measure the performance of your contractors. So you need to come with your planned procurement metrics, and you need to make sure that you need to keep the clear procurement timetable. The procurement timetable will make you to understand which supplier has to work on what time and what sequence. When the supplier has to work and how they're going to work, in what sequence they have to work. You need to mention the procurement related timetable in the procurement management plan. Right? And you need to make sure that who will be the person to sign the contract, whether the particular person should have a legal knowledge or advocate knowledge, or any other person can sign within the organization, whether the organization is having 2 layers of signatory. One person has made the signatory, and on top of that, the owner of the company has to make the signatory or not. So this information has to send into the procurement management plan. And apart from this, who has to do the negotiation? Once it is coming to the negotiation, what are you going to do the negotiation? You have to negotiate for the payment terms and conditions. You have to negotiate for price. You have to negotiate for quality. You have to negotiate for the quantity. You have to negotiate for the location where the things should be delivered. So project manager and team should not do any kind of negotiation. They have to support the negotiation teams. Now, who's going to lead the team? Who will be the lead negotiator? So you have to define the roles and responsibility for each and every person who will be taking the responsibility in the procurement things. Okay. Now, once the contract is awarded, after evaluating various suppliers, various proposals, based on the internal criteria, what you have, and one supplier is selected based on the competitive range of price and the range of product is having. You are entering into negotiation and you are making an agreement. It can be a formal agreement or it can be legal binding. And you're going to award the contract. Right now, he's going to do the service for you. This project is demanding multiple suppliers. You doesn't know the Burj Khalifa is having nearly 35 contractors. Most of the contractors were JV. Like where Samsung and Arabtech were JV. Like that, likewise, the 35 suppliers were working under the client. Right? The client is Nakil Properties and 35 suppliers working. So someone has to manage the interface of various suppliers. Someone has to maintain this kind of relationships. These people are our business associates. Someone has to communicate our information to these suppliers. Someone has to do the administrative work. So you should make sure that who will be the administrator. So you need to define your contract administrators. So who will be the person who will be working as a contract administrators? Who will be the person who will be working as a contract manager who is having authority to sign the contract? Who will be the person who will be leading the negotiation team to do a lot of negotiation? Who will be the lead negotiator? So this role should be this role and responsibility should be defined in the procurement management plan. Is it clear or not, guys?
Yeah, Bala. So what is the role of project manager here in the procurement? Agreements and all will be taken care by this
Okay, the project manager is having a knowledge in going through the legalese. He can spell the legal words.
Yeah,
Whether he's
then
having a
scope.
sound knowledge,
Mostly
whether
we
he's
used
having
to work on the scope part.
so he has to be a backbone support to the departments.
Okay.
Who has to do the purchase? The project manager will do the purchase. The project manager will do the purchase, and the purchase department will do the purchase.
Purchase department will do that.
Okay, we'll be giving the list to
With
what items to. We'll be giving the list to what all the items to be acquired and you have to do the purchase. The project manager, right?
Yeah.
Project manager, right? And project manager and team has to support the person who's going to do the negotiation. Because what happened here in the client, or if you are a client and you don't have the lead negotiator and you want to negotiate with your project manager, but the contractor is going to bring a negotiator from their side. They will not use the project manager to do the negotiations. So what are you going to do the negotiations? The contractor will be using their negotiator to do the proper negotiations. They have the subject matter expert what to negotiate, what not to negotiate. But the project manager will not do this kind of negotiations, right? The project manager is having the expertise in doing the negotiation. Hello? No. So you have to use your proxies, right? You have to use your representatives, right? So you need to select someone from the purchase department to do the negotiations. What are you going to do the negotiation? You are expecting the wonderful service from the supplier. And the supplier is expecting a wonderful price from the contractor. They want more profit and you want more service. So who will be the better person to do the negotiations? Project manager should not sit. Project management team should not do the negotiation. You need to use your lead negotiator. And who has to administrate each and every procurement processes? Who has to administrate various interface? Who has to administrate the relationship between the supplier and the client? The project manager or the contract manager, administrator?
Contract administrator.
Contract administrators, right? So you have to define the roles and responsibility of all the people in the procurement management plan, right? Now, whether the project manager is allowed to do any kind of purchase, yes, is allowed to do any. Is allowed by the management to do purchase. What kind of item he can purchase? He can purchase COTS. Please note on commercial of the self item. The project manager is allowed to do a commercial of the self item. So what is this commercial of the self item? If I want to buy a printer, if I want to buy a cartridge, if I want to buy a toner, if I want to buy a stakes of paper for me to do the prints, if I want to buy some office related items like staplers, I want to buy some computers, I want to buy a printer, I want to buy some table, chair. Every time I can't put a request to the purchase department to do this. So some corporate companies will allow the project managers to buy this commercial of the self items. So the organization process asset will be having your procurement policies, whether the project manager is given a corporate credit card to do this purchase. And all your supplier list will be coming here from your assets. So you have your pre-qualified supplier list, seller list. Is it clear or not, guys? Hello?
Yes.
So the commercial of self items, some corporate companies will be allowing the project manager, giving the corporate credit card. You can do the purchase. So the purchase should not exceed more than $10,000. So anything which is exceeding more than $10,000, for example, you need to make sure that you need to give the list to the purchase department where they're going to give the purchase, where they're going to purchase, where they're going to give to you. Right? Now, the purchase can be broken into centralized purchase, centralized, or it can be decentralized. So what do you mean by a centralized and what do you mean by a decentralized? Whether you are away from the your head office, there will be no person from the purchase department will come and work in the project site office. Everything we can manage through the, we are sitting in the in our head office. If you want to get anything to get purchased, send your list. We will purchase and we'll be sending directly to the site office. We will be managing the complete contract relationships. We'll be able to do the complete administrations. Everything we are able to do in the head office. We will be having a separate department. We'll be having a separate floor, and we'll be having our staff, and we'll be having our own reporting relations. The decentralized, until the project is going to complete, your purchase department, your part of team has to work in the project site office. So there will be a separate cabin for the purchase department to work along with the project managers. That means he or she doesn't require to report to the project manager. Again, he has to report to the direct boss. But until the project is completed, he has to help, she has to help the project manager. What are the things or the list of items the project manager wants? He will be doing the verification. He'll be sending the list to the head office. You'll be getting the approval, and you'll be looking for the contractors to get the things, and that will be delivered to the project manager in the project site office. So the purchase can be a centralized or it can be decentralized. Is it clear, guys? Hello?
Yes, Kula.
Okay. Now, once you are considering some factors, so you need to consider the internal factors and external factors. Whether you have a capability in doing these projects or you need to bring from outside, whether you have a complete infrastructure in doing this project or you have some gaps in your infrastructures. So these are the various factors. And once you want to use the global vendors, whether the global vendors are permitted in your country to do your procurements, how we are able to bring this global vendors, what all the complaints your company, your project has to meet to bring the global vendors, whether the global vendors are allowed or not allowed. So you need to consider these various factors. And you need to make sure that whether the market is a glut market, or it's going to be a broker's market. The glut market is something, the price is a deciding authority. You have enormous commodities, many suppliers having the same commodities, same goods. The price will be the deciding factor. So the market will be an entire glut market. The market can be a broker market. It's one of the important factors that broker will make an artificial shortage. You know very well in India, the brokers used to make, they're going to hide the pulses and the onions. They want to make an artificial shortages. They are not able to supply. They're going to take this one in godown and they want to increase the price. They want to create an artificial shortages in the market. So what price they're going to demand? So the consumer is going to pay and going to take that commodities. It's the daily provisions. They can't skip this one. So you need to make sure that whether the market is a broker market or glut market. Right or not, guys? Right? Hello?
Yeah.
And apart from this, you need to make sure that there's anything called collaboration. There's anything called collective bargaining agreement. Collective bargaining agreement. What is this called? This is one of the factors. Collective bargaining agreement. What is this collective bargaining agreement? Collective bargaining agreement. What do you mean by collective bargaining agreement? Vijay? Mr. Vijay,
yeah, well, collective I can tell you. So
okay. You're
multiple ideas.
You're from Tamil Nadu, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Let me go with who's Kerala? Who's Caroline? Okay, you are from which part of Tamil Nadu, Vijay?
Based out of Chennai.
Okay. Okay, what happened? You are running a medical business, healthcare business, and you're taking the complete healthcare product from Gujarat. You are directly buying from the factory and you're able to bring to your logistics. You're able to bring to your warehouse. Where you're going to keep some margin and you're going to sell that product to the retailers, right? Now, 8 lorries of goods are coming from Gujarat and it's reaching to Chennai. And you have your workers working in the warehouse. They will do the loading and unloading. They will take this one to the retail shops. They will take your product to the hospital where they're getting the orders. Even you are getting like you have more workers to do the loading and unloading. Whether the Chennai union workers will make your workers to unload?
No, here only our people will be allowed. I mean,
no, I'm asking whether you have your own people, you're paying for your people, whether the Chennai union workers will allow your own workers to unload the things from lorry?
No, they won't allow.
So
There is a
make
union.
make sure that this is one of the important factor, collective bargaining agreement. Whether the organization is having any kind of union workers tied up, whether you signed an agreement with the union workers. You need to use only that union workers. Even though you are having the people, you should not use your people. You need to use this union workers for the work. So this is one of the important factors, right? And you need to make sure that whether you have any kind of trade embargo. What does it mean by trade embargo? 4 years before,
Qatar
was having Saudi trade embargo. So where you are able to get your provisions, consumables, pulses, where you are able to get your curd, your Lebanon,
white people,
your meat, halal meat, where you are able to get? You are able to get from Saudi, right? What happened? What happened to 4 years back? There was a blockade. You are not able to make any trade. Your plane should not fly over Saudi. You should not get any kind of commodity from Saudi. You should not buy anything from Bahrain. You should not buy anything from UAE. Right? Only 2 members are neutral members, Kuwait and Oman. Right? Trade embargo. So if you are able to bring a commodity from that particular country, whether you have any kind of trade embargo for that particular country, that will be one of the important enterprise environmental factors. So everything you have to decide in your procurement management plan, right? Okay. Now you need to know about your source, where you will be getting your things, where you are able to get your commodities, where you are able to get your goods, where you are able to get your service. So you need to know about your source. So what are the source you have in front of you? What source? There are many sources. One of the sources, please note down, a single source. Single source. And one is called as a sole source. And one is called as oligopoly. These are the things categorized which is coming under source. Single source, sole source, oligopoly. What do you mean by single source? And what do you mean by sole source? And what do you mean by oligopoly? Oligopoly is not a computer game. It's one of the procurement term for you to find out your source. Where are you going to get your goods and where are you going to get your commodities?
Oligopoly is something like only one person is having that material. Like that.
Okay, only one person, monopoly, right? Only one person. So he is going to fix the price and you need to buy that from that particular supplier. Buy from that particular supplier, right? So he is going to fix the price and he is going to fix the margin. And what condition he is asking you to bound, you need to bound towards these conditions. So that will be a sole source. Single source, you have multiple players in the market, but 15-20 years before, you are able to start your business. You are a startup company and you don't have that much of money. right? So that particular supplier was giving you a lot of help in terms of credits. So normally the market used to give like a 60 days credit, but this person has given you 120 days credits. And since you are a good paymaster, you're able to collect the money and you're able to settle his invoice. So you are asking him to give 120 days as a credit days. He has given 120 days, and still he is giving you 120 days. Because of him, the growth happened. Is one of the source for you to get your growth in the market. Without him, you are not able to grow. So even many players are coming and attacking you, sir. We'll give you the discount. Can you just make some trade with us? Your management is very strict, and they're going to give a standing instruction to the procurement division that don't try to change the supplier. We have to honor him. So that will be a single source, right or not, guys? Right? Hello?
Yes, madam.
Yes. And here, the price is the deciding factor. Price. All people are having the same commodities. All people are having the same goods in surplus. Price will be the deciding factors. One is going to give you 10% discount. One is going to give you 12% discount. One is going to give you 15% discount. So where are you going to buy? Everything is the same make, same brand, but it's surplus in the market. Surplus in the market. In Tamil, we used to say a proverb. So I'll say in Tamil, Katrika Muttuna Kadatharukku Vandaganum. What is the meaning of this, Miss Kala?
So Katrika, yeah, if you are keeping the Tamil Katrika நம்ம வீட்ல வச்சிருந்தாலும் அது என்னைக்காவது
No, you say in English, ma'am. You say in English. Many people are English. I'm asking you, what is the proverb? You just translate into English.
Yeah, if that brinjal is matured.
No, it's surplus. People are going behind brinjal, and brinjal growth is surplus.
Yeah, then it has to come to the market. They cannot keep it at home.
You can hide that one in Godown, right?
Godown, yeah, we cannot keep it at home. Then we have to bring it.
How long you can keep that brinjal in your Godown?
No, we cannot keep it for a long time also.
Sometimes you need to bring all the brinjal outside in the market, right? And you need to give in a slash price. So oligopoly is nothing but it's a price deciding factors. Price is the only one that will be deciding you to purchase where you need to purchase. Surplus items are there, surplus services there, surplus goods are there. You have to decide who's going to give the handsome discount. You're going to select your supplier and you're going to buy from him. So this will be their source. Right? Now, from your side, before getting the proposal, what you need to be ready with, what you need to do, what you need to arrange prior. What kind of documents you need to arrange in prior to get the proposals. From your side, as a buyer, I need to buy something because I don't have anything, or I don't have the resources to do this, or the life cycle cost of that particular product which I'm going to make myself is so costly. So I need to go outside to bring that in commodity, that goods inside. So in order to get the proposals for the goods or the service or anything you're going to buy from the supplier, you need to be ready with your documents. What kind of documents you need to arrange in prior to get the proposals?
RFP?
What, man?
RFP.
Okay. Yeah. Please note down. There are two things you need to keep ready. One is your procurement statement of work. Procurement statement of work. It can be one procurement statement of work, or it can be an umbrella procurement statement of work. If you want to buy many items from the same supplier, either you want to buy one item or many items. One item you can use one procurement statement of work, or if you want to buy from the same supplier more the goods you need to acquire, you need to make sure that you need to have an umbrella statement of work. And you need to be ready with your bid documents. Sometimes the procurement statement of work in some organization, especially once the organization is going to give you the service, they're going to call the procurement statement of work as a TOR, terms of reference. Terms of reference. So what you can see in the procurement statement of work and terms of reference, procurement statement of work will be giving you the complete, what kind of scope of work you're going to get from the supplier. What is the scope of the work you are expecting from the supplier? In what quantity you're going to get from your supplier? And what will be the quality you're expecting from the supplier? And where the things should be delivered, shipped. So that is very clearly given in the procurement statement of work. Don't try to carve the procurement statement of work in the stone. You need to give the enough space to the supplier, because suppliers are more intelligent than you guys. You'll be giving nice suggestions. So don't ever try to bring the procurement statement of work in a stone. Try to give much space where you can get much input from your suppliers. And the terms of reference is nothing but what data you have to hand over to the supplier before you start your work. And what kind of data will be given by the owner to the suppliers when you have to send your proposals, and what is the timeline they need to wait for them to get the informations, whether it got approved or whether it got rejected, whether the contract will be awarded, whether the contract is whether you are selected to get the contract or someone is given the contract, on what basis you are rejected and what basis they are selected. So you need to make sure that the terms of reference will be referring all the guidelines. And there are three kind of bid documents. One is RFQ. The other one is RFI. The third one is RFP. So together we call this one as a bid packages or bid documents. In what cases you're going to use RFQ? In what cases you will be using RFI? In what cases you'll be using RFP?
Yeah, we used to share the quote. At that time we'll use.
If you know the complete technical aspects of the suppliers,
okay, then we
you need to just ask the supplier to give the quotations. You are requesting for quotation. Only the price is the matter here, right? And if it doesn't know a particular commodities or goods which you're going to acquire from your supplier, you want the additional extraneous informations, you'll be sending a bid document called request for additional informations. If you want to know the complete technical aspects, and if you want to know the complete commercial aspect of your supplier and what all the things is dealing with, you are asking him to give the complete proposals. So the bid documents is called as a request for proposals. So make sure that your terms of reference or your procurement statement of work, whether it's a single procurement statement of work or umbrella statement of work, along with the bid documents is already ready for you to send to your supplier to get their proposals. And before getting the proposal, make sure that you have to work out your source selection criteria. Source selection criteria. Or you need to work out with your internal criteria. It can be objective criteria or it can be subjective criteria. We were discussing this one with Mr. Vijay. So one of the source selection criteria, what basis you're going to select the proposals? Based on the technical reference. Based on the reference which we got from the market, we're going to receive the proposals. That particular person is meeting our reference. Based on the technical capability. Based on the technical capacity. Based on the financial capacity. You should just make sure that you are investigating that particular person at any occasion. He never went as a bankrupted. And you need to make sure that whether he can scale up to your requirements. Or a particular people is going to work for your project, there should be a PMP certificate or they should have some certifications. At least these people has to work at least 6 months in your project. Or you are demanding the person to just use the European standard or any kind of Indian standard or American standards. So this will be your criteria. So once you are getting your criteria, once you are ready with your procurement statement of work or terms of reference, along with the bid documents, send this one to your pre-qualified suppliers to get their proposals. And once you're going to get the proposals, make sure that you need to evaluate the proposal with your criteria. So once you're done with that, you will be moving from the plan procurement to the conduct procurement process. Right? Now, apart from this, you need to make sure that you are working on various procurement strategies. Procurement strategies will be different for each and every industries. Now, the procurement strategy will be having three things. It will be giving you on what will be your delivery, what delivery you would expect, and what is the payment terms and conditions, and how we are able to phase your procurement. So payment, depending upon the contract type, a fixed price contract, cost reimbursable, incentive clauses, award fees. So depending upon the payment terms and condition, you are making the financial department to understand what condition, what payment condition, terms and condition was dictated. Based on that, the payment will be released from the financial department. How you are able to sequence your procurement for each and every phase. What is your timetable and what is the metrics you will be having to measure the performance of your suppliers, and what is the reporting system you're going to report the performance of your suppliers. So that will be phased. Now we need to have a detailed look on the delivery, how the things should be delivered. You are able to do the same delivery in the IT and the civil engineering.
No.
Hello.
No, it is different.
Okay, so in the IT or especially in the adaptive project, they will do something, the delivery will be happening, and they're going to call this one as a professional service. The professional service, maybe the seller is not permitted to use any kind of subcontractor. 100% of the things, everything has to be come from the supplier, not from the subcontractors. So the client is very adamant in the condition of contract, everything should come from you. 100% what you promise to give, you need to pay, you need to handle, you need to deliver that one to us. You should not procure anything from any supplier. It has to come from your side. We will not permit any subcontractor to be used. So that is one of the way they're going to deliver. Okay, the supplier is going to ask the client, can I use some subcontractor? Because 100% I can't supply. Can I use a subcontractor? 20% of the supply will come from him. Okay, done. But the procurement relationship is not with me, is between you guys. Make sure that he's not reporting to me, and I will not take any report from him. So you need to take care of him. Nothing should come from us. You are responsible. So the client is allowing the supplier to use the subcontractors. So that is the one way of doing the professional delivery. The other way, the client will make the supplier to act as a consultant. So what all the things the client is demanding, the consultant will demand to his contractors. So the consultant is acting as a client and getting the service from the contractors. So the client is giving the complete in charge to the supplier to act as a consultant in behalf of the client. And the last case is that the client and the supplier is going to make a JV, 50-50. They're going to exchange the resources. So 50-50 JV. So both are united together and they're going to work and they're going to bring a service or they're going to bring a product. So this is all about the adaptive environment is going to use in his procurement strategy. It's a delivery, the way you're going to deliver. But in the case of construction and the engineering project, the delivery will not be a professional service. They're going to do something called a turnkey. What is the turnkey? What is the turnkey? Are you there or slept? Hello?
I think it's
Yeah, here.
EPC, engineering, procurement, and construction.
Okay, EPC contract will demand you to go with the turnkey. You will not. You will give the final key to the owner, where the owner will take the
Yes.
possession after everything is completed, right?
Yes.
Very common in the buildings, very common in the high-rise towers, very common in the row houses, very common in the aircraft, very common in the cargo vessels or passenger vessels. Turnkey project. So this is the way they're going to deliver their project. Or sometimes how the delivery will be done, they call this one as a design build. What is this, a design build? We call this a DB. So who's going to come with the design? The same person is going to build the design. So you'll be using the same contractor to make a design, and you're going to give the approval for the design. After getting the final approval, you start building your designs. So you can just show the common finger point if anything is going wrong. So there you're going to spot out a common person. So that will be design build. There's something called hard build. Hard build. HARD, hard build, which is nothing but DBB. Design, bid, build. So how are you going to differentiate the design build with the design bid build? Hello? What is the difference between design build?
Design based on multiple designs. The lowest bid or the favorable bid can go for building that or awarding the contract.
Okay, so the design bid build is nothing but someone is going to make a design that will be approved by the client, right? And that will be sent for a bid. You will not make the same person who has made a design to you. You will be calling the different suppliers. And the different supplier is going to take participation in the bid, and who's going to give you the wonderful service which you consider, and who's having a good reference from the market. You're going to select that particular person. You're going to sign a contract with them, so the contract will be awarded to that supplier to build that design. So two people are involved. Here, the first case, you will be using the same contractor to make a design to build the design. Here, you are taking the design from one contractor and you are bidding that design to the market, and you're bringing the proposals and evaluating the proposal, and you are selecting the different vendor, and you're able to make a contract, or you're signing an agreement with a different vendor, and he's going to build the design. So you can't show the common finger point if anything is going wrong. Is it clear or not, guys? Guys, it is clear.
Yep.
Okay. Now, some cases, they have a delivery. The delivery is called as boot delivery. Boot is nothing but build, operate. Sorry, yeah, operate. Sorry, not operate. Sorry. Build, own it, operate it, and what? Operate it. T stands for what? Build, own, operate, turnover, right?
Transfer.
Sorry, transfer. Sorry, transfer. Sorry. Thanks, sir.
Fine.
So many industrial zones or mass transit railway projects, or it's going to be highway projects, which will be connecting various cities and various districts. So this project will be happening, the delivery will be happening based on this booth methods. Right? Okay. Highways, 3,000 kilometers, you need to connect various roads. But the government will give you only 30% money. Remaining 70% has to come from the suppliers. And we will pay only 30. you need to invest 70%. Now, how I'm going to take my profits? How I'm going to take the money which I've invested? You try to build it, own that property, operate it, and once you got your money and profit, try to transfer back to the government. How the highways are developed, the toll plazas are kept. Toll plazas.
Yes.
It's very common, right? In Canada, they want to just to come with a large, massive infrastructure project connecting various cities. So the government, the Canadian government, they were willing to pay only 20% to the contractors. Remaining 80% of the funds has to come from the contractor. They need to complete this project. For next 10 years, you need to own it, operate it, and make a toll plaza, collect your money until you get your profit. You are worked out, you will be getting your profit and the original investment within 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. Try to maintain it. And once you got all the profit, try to transfer back to the government. Is it clear or not, guys? Hello? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what the people is advising, once you know how much you're going to spend for the procurement in total, try to collect an independent estimate from a firm cost engineering company. Why we need to collect the independent estimate from the engineering company? What makes you to collect the independent estimate? What makes you to collect the independent estimate outside your organizations? Hello, guys, you are there? You have your estimation engineers, you have your tendering estimation engineers, you have your commercial managers, you have the quantity surveyors who can do the good estimation. And what is the necessity for you to just take an estimation from an independent cost engineering firm outside? What is the reason?
Validation.
For you to just use this one as a benchmarking. You want to compare your estimation with the estimation which you're going to take from the cost engineering firm. Whether you done a proper estimation or you never understand the scope of the work, or the independent estimation which you got from the cost engineering firm is a most established company. They given you the estimation including the overhead cost, or the independent estimation cost engineering firm is a startup company. They doesn't have that much of a overhead cost. They given you the lowest price. So you can just benchmark your estimation with the estimation you're going to take from the outside your company to benchmark your numbers. Whether you understood or they never understood. Whether you understood, they never understood. Whether you never understood, they understood properly. They're given a thorough estimations. So this kind of benchmarking you can just do using you can compare your estimation with other estimations. And since it is going to be a procurement, once you're taking the procurement decisions, many things will alter and many things will make you to update, and you have to make sure that all the things should be properly up to date in all the documents. So make sure that you need to update the complete project documents, right? And right now you're ready to take the proposals. And before taking the proposal, you feel that the number of suppliers is not too much. So you never got the competitive range of price. More the supplier, more the competitive range of price you are able to get. But you got only the limited suppliers. So what are you going to do? How are you going to increase there is no hard and fast and rules, or there is no policies in the organization to go with only one supplier. You can bring many suppliers and you can do the evaluation, right? Right or wrong? So how to increase the suppliers? What is the best way for you to increase the supplier numbers? More supplier, more the proposal you are able to get, and more competitive range of price and product you are able to get. So what is the way for you to increase the supplier numbers? How you are able to increase the head counts of your suppliers? Hello? Hello, guys?
By conducting audits of the
No, not
various-
audits. Audit and all will be conducted once the procurement work is commenced, right? Whether the supplier is able to supply as per the contract terms and condition, whether the performance is up to expectations. So someone has to give the audit reports, right? You'll be using your own auditors, or you're going to bring the third-party auditors, right? But my question is that to increase the suppliers, what is the strategy you're going to use?
We will ask our friends. I mean, like
Reference, right?
whoever is expert. Yeah,
What is this?
it is expert judgment advertising.
Advertising. No one is questioning you to go with only one supplier. More the supplier, you can just justify to the management that more the supplier, I'll be getting more proposals. More the product I can know, more the service I can know, more the goods I can see. More, and I'll be getting the competitive range of price. Advertising. So how are you going to do the advertisement? Can you do the advertisement in the nationwide, regional wide papers? City-wide papers, international white papers, newspapers? Can I do the advertisement through radios? How we are able to get the government advertisements? They will be calling for the call for. How the Ashkill is giving the advertisement? How we are able to know about what the Ashkill is asking for? How the ministry is asking for? How we are able to know? Newspapers, right? Or you'll be using medias. Right now, you can use your social medias. And most of the thing is that you can see the highway will be having something called billboard. Had you seen that a billboard carrying only the telephone numbers? The complete billboard was painted white, and you can see a very big, broad numbers are given, telephone numbers are given. Have you seen this one?
Yes.
Yes, no, guys.
Yes. Yes.
So once you're making a call, they will say that, okay, we are looking for the proposals. Can you give the email address? We'll be sending our procurement document, our procurement statement work and the complete bid package, so you can understand what we are trying, what we are exactly expecting from you. So the advertisement. Okay, now I want to know whether the vendors are ready to serve me. I need to know the readiness of the vendors. I need to gauge them. So what will be the important technique I need to use? I need to know whether the vendors are ready to supply me. I need to know the readiness, whether they are ready or not ready, whether they have the complete list of product for us, what they sent to us as the proposal, whether they are ready to supply this, or to just enter into a business venture. They send simply, but they don't have this kind of commodities. So what kind of things will help you to know this, to gauge the readiness of the vendor in supplying the things? Hello?
How they have performed in the other.
You have to just go and visit them, right? You have to visit their stores, whether they have the complete commodities. So you need to just visit their warehouse, the logistics. You have to go there, right? You have to take the online surveys. You have to do the online. You have to take the online reviews. What are you going to do? Please note down the technique which will be helping me to know the readiness of the vendors. So the technique name is called market research. Keep on asking the examination point of view, what will make you to know the readiness of the vendors, to gauge the vendor whether they are ready or not to supply. You have to take online reviews, online surveys. You can go and visit their stores directly, whether they have the complete list of items for your projects. So market research is a technique they'll be using for you to know about the readiness of vendors, right? Here in contract procurement, the proposals are selected and you are able to run a bidder conference. Bidder conference. The bidder conference can be called as a pre-bidder conference, or we can call this one as a supplier meet. This supplier meet will be done, the pre-bidder conference. Bidder conference will be done in several rounds. And each and every round, you can see there is a decrease in number of your suppliers. Why? Why there is a decrease in number in several rounds? You may go for 2 rounds, you may go for 3 rounds, or you can maximize for 5 rounds. Each and every round, you can see the number of suppliers who had sent the proposal to you. So they will be vanishing. Why? Why? Please try to cooperate. I can finish very faster because I know very well it's a weekend, and everyone will be planned for your weekends. So why there is a decrease in number of your suppliers?
There will be validation in each and every process. And
So the supplier will be able to understand in each and every the supplier meet, they are not able to cope up to your requirements. And they will just know that it's not their cup of tea, right? So they can't cope up to your requirements, or they can't scale up to the requirements. They know the limitations. So they will be understanding the gaps they have. And what will be the problem or the troubleshoot they have once they are entering and signing this contract. So each and every round, you can see there's a decrease in number of the suppliers. And once you are reaching to the final round, you are able to filter your supplier list, and you are able to select a appropriate supplier, and you're able to negotiate with him, and you're entering into an agreement, and that agreement will make you to sign the contract, or you'll be signing informal documents, or you'll be signing the legal documents, depending upon the environment. Right now, you have to see whether there is, and who is the person authority to make a signatory. The contract manager is having every authority to make a signatory in the contract papers, not the project manager. And if the organization is insisting you to take additional signature from the CEO or the owner of the company, you have to make sure that the contract papers has to bring that signature. Right now, the contract is awarded, and the supplier is starting the service. What you have to do? You have to control the procurements. So what you're going to use as a tool to control the procurements? Everyone has to meet their own obligations. So you're going to hold your bargain at your end, and the supplier will be holding their bargain at their end. So everyone has to meet the condition of contracts, right? So make sure that you need to do a frequent inspection on their work, and you need to call the auditors. You can use your own auditor, or you can call the third-party auditor to do the auditing on the procurement process of your suppliers, right? Or if you're going to do the audit, what are the things you can eliminate? What are the things you can eliminate? You can make your auditor to go for a site audit, or you can do the surveillance audits. So what is the benefit of doing auditing and inspections?
We can improve the quality and
okay, we can improve the quality of the work, and you're able to know about the errors. You're able to know about the omissions. You're able to know about the findings. You're able to take the suggestion from the auditors to improve the procurement process. And auditing also will be giving whether the payment is done in an honest way or not. What is happening in Qatar and Middle East market? You know something called under table dealing. Hello?
Yeah, but in India.
Not in Qatar.
Under table dealing. Many
That is in India.
Not
In
only in
India.
India, everywhere there is under table dealing. You know that people will say that being a project manager, you will take more salary. No, if you're going to sit in the purchase department or any commercial department, you make more money. How? How?
in the form of gift.
Then you will not get some commissions. You will not get some commissions. The procurement team will not get commissions. I'm going to place a bulk order. So what is the discount? So I can show the discount to the company, and what is the benefit I'm going to take from you? Right? Who will be the person to go for a factory visit? Who will be the person to go for the factory visit? If you're going to get your commodity from Turkey, or if you're going to get something from India, who will be the person to visit the factory? Who will be doing the inspection, and who will be doing the quality test there? What kind of dealing will be happening? So the audit will be done not only to just give the findings or summaries, or to give the observation which they made on the supplier. It also makes you to know whether the payments are done in an honest way, because you know very well many supplier will run away from the buyer. Once they are coming to receive the bills, they checks, they will run away from the buyer. Immediately after getting the check, they will say that they have some work and they have to leave. So you are losing your reputations. That's the reason you know very well the environmental factors will make you to have the proper legal arrangements, the legal initiatives. Countries like USA will be having something called Anti-Bribery Act, Prevention of Corruption Act. That's one of the important enterprise environmental factors. In order to avoid the buyer is having the stealer reputations, you should not having the stealing reputations. There should be a proper functioning in your payment systems. One of the important condition is that you will be obeyed for the payment terms and conditions. Make sure that you should not keep any pending invoices. You need to clear the complete invoice as per the payment terms and conditions. If you are not having the good functioning payment systems, if we are not able to honor the invoice, nor the invoice is kept in the pending, what happens? You are able to have the good relationship with your business associates. Always make sure that the relationship should be a long-term relation. You should not go for short-term benefits. You need to have the long-term benefits. If we are not honoring the invoices continuously, what happens? Or if the supplier is not as per the specification, is not able to supply or do the delivery, always is giving you the late delivery, what happens? What you can do?
Penalty, right?
Hello?
Yeah, Bala, penalty or fine can be.
No, what you need to do? Can you make the person to know by sending a mail stop work? That's the correct way for you to do. If the continuously the continuously supply is not up to the condition of the contract, always is making a delay, always the delivery is late, always is not meeting the specifications, always is making an error, always is quarreling with the client, and the supplier is not honoring the payment, and supplier is not turning up once the seller is going to integrate its work. So there should be a continuous integration in the product line, but the contractor, the client is not turning up, or the client is not allowing the access. They're denying the access to the supplier to enter into the site office. Always they have stopped in the muster point. So how are you going to do this? What are you going to do? Can you terminate the contract immediately? So what is the legal way for you to do the terminations? If both the people are not holding their bargain properly, if both the people are not meeting the obligations, which they brought as a condition of contract or clauses or subclauses in the contract papers, there is a breach. There is a breach. So what is the official way or legal way for you to just give the stop work? You have to send a legal notice, right? 30 days prior. So who will be the person to send the legal notice to stop work? Who will be the person who will be having the authority to send the legal notice? Contract administrator. The contract administrator will be the person to take in charge to send the legal notice. 30 days prior, you need to send. Make the payment for that 30 days. Or you see that whether you need to make a partial payment or you should not make any payment, what clauses you brought. According to that, you need to make your payments. Right? Now, once the change request is not accepted, once the change request is not accepted, so that will lead to something conflicts. This conflict is contract related. And this conflict will lead to something called arguments. And this argument will lead to something as what? This argument, it will lead to what? It will lead to what? It will lead to something called disputes.
Disputes.
Right? Why the conflict is happening? The conflict can be happening with the two conditions. Please note that one is based on the contested changes. Contested changes will make the conflicts. And one is called a constructive change. One is coming for the contention, and the one is coming from the constructive. Constructive changes, don't try to document it. But contested changes, you need to document. Try to document all the contested changes. The constructive changes, the contract as written several years before. The condition is that the contractor has to run the engine in the normal diesel. Now the contract administrator is new, and he is insisting you to run the engine in high grade diesel. So whose mistake is this? The client has changed the contract administrator. The person is new and he doesn't read through the contract papers, which is written several years back. And very clearly in the clauses, it is written that the contractor can run the engine using the normal diesel. But right now, the new contract administrator is asking you to run the engine through high grade diesel. So now whose mistake is this? The contractor side or the client side? Clearly, it's from the client side, right? So what the contractor can do, he can take a copy of the paper and he can show the contract administrator, see ma'am, see sir, you are asking me to run the engine with a normal diesel. Now, who's going to pay for us if we are running the engine with a high grade diesel? It's so expensive. So they understand, no problem. If the people is not able to understand, you want to make the changes which is not accepted by the client. And the contractor want to make some changes, the client doesn't want to make the changes. Now the changes is in contention. This contention changes should be documented. And how you are able to, the dispute, if you're not able to resolve the dispute, what happened? If you are not able to resolve the dispute, what happens?
Then it will be
It
legal.
goes to something called claims, right?
Claims.
Open claims. So how are you going to resolve the claims? How you are able to resolve the claims? How the open claims should be resolved? You need to have a technique called claims administration. You need to administrate each and every claims. You should document it. You should track it. You should manage each and every claim. So you need to have a technique called claims administrations. For you to support the claims administration, you should have something called RMS, Record Management System. Keep all the correspondence, procurement related correspondence, what all the invoices you are able to collect, what all the invoices you are honored, what all the invoices you paid, what all the invoices yet to pay, what all the evaluation you've done, inspection reports on the suppliers, the audit reports on the suppliers, addendums, the correspondence, right? The appendix, everything should brought into the proper, you need to make sure that you need to create a separate server, separate folders, and every document should be up to date. So you should have a clear record management system to support the claims, right? Because you need to know what resolution will be used for you to resolve all the open claims. Please note down, there are 4 claims resolution techniques. The first one is negotiated settlement. Negotiated settlements. So this is one of the best ever claims resolution technique or a dispute resolution technique. Any disputes are open and that led to open claims. Negotiated settlement. Both the party has to sit together across the table, not bringing any middle person. And you need to just respect each and every one. And you need to just think about the long-term relationships and you are entering into an amicable settlements. Okay, mistake is mine. I will not do the mistake. I'll clear all the invoices. Just wait for 1 month. We applied the loan from the bank. You will be getting all the pending invoices. Okay, no problem. Taking your words and believing you, we'll ask all the people to start their work. From tomorrow, everything will become a normal. So both the people are settled. If you are not able to use the negotiated settlement, you want to bring a middle person because 2 people doesn't want to listen to each other. You want to bring a middle person. That middle person, the condition is not required to be an advocate. He doesn't require to have the legal counsel knowledge. He is a partial person, right? So this is called as a mediation. Mediations. So you'll be using a mediator, and mediator resolution is the final resolutions. Either the resolution will come in favor of a client, they have to respect, the contractor has to respect it. Either it can go in favor of the contractor, the client has to respect it. So you're going to pay for a mediator, the mediation will be happening, and you're going to bring a consultant as a mediator. Or if you want to use only the advocate person, or the person is a lawyer, he knows the complete legalese, so you need to do something called arbitration. And this legal counsel or the advocate or the lawyer who's going to sit as a middle person, as a mediator, his solution will be a final. You have to listen. Both the party has to abide that. Okay, I don't want to do the negotiated settlement. I don't want to use a mediator. I don't want to use the arbiter. I never want to do the arbitrations. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Hello? The final thing is that litigations. So both the party will just frame a inquiry in the court of law. They are able to run a legal trial on each other, and they have to submit all the points, and they need to just bring their lawyers, advocate team. So they have to defend each other. So your record management system should have the up-to-date information. For you to win your verdict, you're going to run your legal trial on your vendors, and you need to wait for a lot of time. The money will be wasted. So you need to wait for years together to get your verdicts. It may go for, the verdict can be favored to any parties. Right? So please note one, the first three, you're able to take a solution for your dispute is called as ADR. So ADR is a very best resolution finder. The dispute will be resolved by going with the ADR. Any one technique you can use for you to resolve the disputes or claims. ADR is nothing but alternative dispute resolution technique. ADR findings is a very good findings, because litigation will take a lot of time, and you're able to take your verdict. You have to wait for many years. You need to spend a lot of money for you to get your verdict. ADR is the best findings. It's a it's a dispute resolution technique on the claims. So ADR, three things are ADR: negotiated settlement, mediation, arbitrations. Otherwise, the last option for you is litigations. Right? So make sure that you're going to revise your contract value, or you want to do some changes in the existing scope of the work. You need to add, you need to do something. Make sure that it has to do in the proper way. The people proper way. So that makes you to change your procurement decisions. That make you to change your procurement strategies, right? And that makes you to issue the change request, and that will be getting the approval, and that will be coming for the implementations. You have to see whether it's properly implemented by your contractors. You need to do the performance review. You have to use your equations like earned value, variance at completions to complete performance index, and the performance of your suppliers, inspection reports, audit reports, everything will be the supplier is working or not. So you need to make, you need to just ask your project manager from the contractor side to share the inspection report and audit reports. So there's need of further improvements. Can you ask your team to just follow the further improvements? So you're going to close your contract. So you'll be using various termination clauses. Depending upon the termination method you're going to adapt. So before you do the termination, send the legal notice from the contract administrator to inform that the contract will be terminated. Right? Any open claims, it's not the jurisdiction of the project manager. It will be dealt by the legal counsels or legal arrangements within the organizations. They will take care. You will try to close the procurement with the vendors and try to close your project or phase. Before closing the procurements, makes all the procurement related documents are properly up to date, and you need to collect all your procurement documents and make sure that you want to write a final report. Procurement index file should be written, and you have to take that one in your organizational processes. Right? So thanks for the wonderful cooperation which you've done, and thanks for bearing me for last 2 months. Anything you want to say?
Thanks for the session, Bala. It's
Yeah.
very much useful for us to focus on our exam in future. Still, anyway, we will disturb you till we
No
complete
problem.
our
No problem.
certifications.
No problem.
Thank you.
I will
Thank
not
you
take.
all.
I will not take this one as a disturbance. But what all the things I have done, my part I've done. Right now, if you want to put, if you want to add a pride on to me for my classes to you, you need to make sure that you need to grab the certification as soon as possible. So as I said very clearly, now the contact point for you will be Mr. Money. If it is going to be a clerical work or administrative work, but anything which is a subject wise, please try to come to me anytime. Ping me your message. So try to come privately and ping me a message. I'll respond to that. I'll be sending much more questions to you guys. What are the questions which came from the latest days? I'll be sending with your answers. Or if anyone want to get the only questions and they want to sit for the complete 180 questions, they want to test their ability, whether they can fix the exam date as soon as possible, or they want to give the exam in the far future. So you can take that one without answers. Or if I want to send with the answers, I can send with the answers. Don't try to disclose or don't try to circulate outside. There's something that's very confidential. I said very clearly, all the questions which I'm going to send to you, it's taken from the PMI exam security board. These questions are tested and given for the people, and they will be using the same question for the future exams. Thanks for all the people. All the very best for the future endeavors. Try to yes, boss.
Yeah, Bala. First of all, thank you. Really, I mean, I must say you are a charismatic tutor I have ever came across. It's the first time I have come. Lot of meetings I did virtually across the globe, but having education, I was just wondering how kids and pupils went through the online teaching, and I was having some different opinion. But when I myself gone through this, I think it's a bit easy having a virtual teaching experience like so really I mean appreciate your efforts for that. Three questions, Bala, from my end before I hang up. I hope I'm not taking much time.
No problem, no problem. So go ahead, sir, please.
Firstly, is there any like online portal where we can practice these questions?
No, what all the questions which I'm going to dump to you, that is far enough, sir. Don't try to
Okay.
buy any kind of simulators. So actually, simulators will not give the questions which is identical, which I'm going to give. The questions I'm taking directly from PMS Security Board. I'm testing with the exam takers, then I'm searching in the net, and I'm able to prepare the questions I'm giving to you guys. Don't ask me how I'm going to test this one and all.
Yeah, for sure.
But you will feel that, okay, at least a 50 to 60 question which is repeated, which Bala was sending to us. You will say that definitely. What all the things we are discussing also is coming here, Bala. You will be giving this kind of feedback. Question number 2, sir.
Okay. Okay. See, I'm from engineering background, and I'll be very open and honest. Like how I passed my engineering was like we used to study only before exams.
Student syndrome, right? Student syndrome.
Okay. Okay. Student syndrome. Correct. Now my question is, let's say, okay, I have some commitments now, probably, and I'm traveling for vacation to India next month, and I'll be most probably appearing for exam in the month of November. That's what I can see. So let's say if I'm not able to dedicate time, and let's say by November only I pick up the literature and start studying. So can you advise there is some technique or some
No, it's depending
some
upon
process?
how well. It's depending upon how well you're going to strategize yourself. I doesn't know what is your studying methodology, right? Maybe you would have maybe you would have gone through the PMBOK first, or you would have taken the practice guide first, or you will skip some important some chapters. You will be sticking on to the chapter which is very hard. So I doesn't know how you strategize yourself. But one thing be sure that try to use the videos which is recorded here and sent to you always once you're doing a long time travel, or you're doing a jogging or doing a walking, because you know very well the summer will go right now. November we will be having the winters. So I think that you can go for a long work. Physically you are trained up, and mentally also you are preparing for the PMP exams. More the thing you practice, more the thing you become more perfect. So practice. Without practicing, it is very difficult for you to crack these exams. If you want to attend one more session also, you can come back from your vacations and you can call Mr. Money. Mani will be giving you the link for you to attend the classes with the zero cost.
Okay, thanks, Bala,
Question
for
number
that.
3.
Will this WhatsApp group be active or
Any ti-
summertime?
At any time, it will not be dismantled. So it will be coming until the life. So whenever we are making any new person, any person is passing down or any new questions is coming, I need to dump there. So it's our common repository. So at any time we will not dismantle this one. It will be remaining the same status. It will be retained. Because if you are passing, I'll be keeping your certificate in the WhatsApp. So other people, the group, they can see Nitin has passed, my batchmate has passed. So that will be motivating them, right? And you can give your comments also. What are the things, pros and cons? What are the things you need to be prepared for the examination? And what are the things you are, what questions it came and how you are able to answer that question. So you can give your comments there, right?
Yeah, Bala, one last question. Sorry for that.
Okay.
Let's say like I'm trying to corner you like in the sense, let's say if I as a like don't take it in other way around. Let's say if I want to ask you what exact topics I need to pitch or concentrate more so that I can get above target or
No, actually, every topic is very important, sir. You can see that you can see the people domain is targeted with the 42%, right? Nearly 74 questions is coming from people skills, and the 3 chapter is going to give inner note about the people skills. One is your stakeholder engagement. The second one is your communication. The third one is your resource management, right? So
yeah.
On all the 10 chapters is going to speak about the process. And the process are common for both the agile environment as well as your traditional environment. So you don't require to go in depth in the process. At least you understand the basics, the fundamentals. So previously, what they used to do, I'm going to use all the things as an input. I'll be getting this as an output. What kind of tools and techniques I need to use to get this output? So you need to memorize your tools and techniques. So they will give the answer, which will be having the exact tools and techniques to be used for that process. And 3 will be made up terms. They're going to change one technique in each and every 3 answers. So you need to go with all the tools and techniques which is most appropriate to that particular process. So you have to select that one. So you need to have the in and out knowledge of the process. So people have to say what they say. You need to be very thorough with ITTOs, input, tools and techniques and output. That was the condition before 2021. Right now, they are asking you should have a basic understanding. See, actually what we have discussed, once we are going back through that questions and all, they will be giving the same kind of questions.
Okay.
Very simple. Where all the areas you can see collaborations, direct approach, you select that. And servant leader, you need to make sure that you need to select the empowerment. And you make the team autonomous. You're giving the complete autonomy to the team for them to make a decisions. So that is a catchy word. If you want the people are quarreling, the people are conflict, then you need to go with the ground rules. So that is something clue for you to take your answers. So I think that you don't have to squash yourself in going through the things in depth. So you have a basic understanding. If you want to skip that one, okay, I don't want to go with the tools and technique or input and output. So there is one book called Process Guide. I send you a process guide for the 6th edition. It will be having input and it will be having output. It will not have it will be a summary book for your PMBOK. It is summarized into 370 pages. For the PMBOK, which is nothing but more than 6,600 pages, 700 pages. So that book you can follow. And you can follow the Agile Practice Standard. 2 materials is very important. Either you need to go with the PMBOK 6th edition, or you can follow the process guide for the PMBOK. And Agile Practice Standard is mandatory. It should be having only nearly 100 pages. That's it, 120 pages.
Okay.
And go through the question which I have given to you. Maybe there will be a repetition of 60 to 70 questions for your exams. Right from the beginning, what they would given, they will be using the same questions. At least a 50 to 60 question. What we have discussed, that question will be repeated there.
Okay, for sure, the last question, Bala. Sorry to other members also. Out of 180, how much you expect that there will be numericals or with the 4 questions which we require
No, right
mathematical
now,
calculation?
there is no numericals, equations. But recently, I could get the feedback that at least 5 to 7 questions are getting asking on equations. Like what we see yesterday, like the probability for you to get 100,000 for this project as a profit is 60%. And probability for you to get loss in this project is 100,000. The probability is 40%. So whether the project is loss or profit, they asking that question. I have taken that one and given to you. So that can be an equation question. So whenever there is a probability, just convert that one as a decimal. Impact, see the impact is a positive or negative. So positive use plus, negative use minus. That will be giving you the profit or loss. So that will be equations. Very simple equations, sir. You don't require to scratch your head for you to find out your things and all. Very simple. Like they're going to keep like your SPI is less than 1 and CPI is more than 1. So see that the schedule is favorable, cost is favorable. Schedule is unfavorable, cost is favorable. Cost is unfavorable, schedule is favorable, or both are unfavorable, or both are favorable. So that kind of questions only you'll be getting.
All right. Thanks, Vala. No more
Okay,
questions.
before dispersing, I want to say a small moral. I will not take that much of time. Everyone is here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Bala.
There is a small city, an urban city, and there was a wise man, and everyone will share their grievance to this wise man for them to get a proper solutions. And everyone is able to appreciate him, even the person from the aged people to small people, the small age people, little age people, they used to appreciate for his solutions. All the solutions are wiser solutions. Automatically, it's coming in for him. Any grievance you can share, you can give the solutions. That will work out. And everyone is appreciating him. So he was considered as a wise man for that particular city, a town, a small town. A small boy is observing this and he is very jealous. Why the people are appreciating this wise person, the older guy? You want to teach a lesson. So in front of the crowd, that small boy is questioning that wise man. Tomorrow, can you come to the same market area? So the people should gather. I will ask you one question. You need to answer me. If you're going to give me a correct answer, then I will consider you as a wise man. If you're giving a wrong answer, if you're not able to answer me, I'll make you as a fool. And everyone has to call hereafter, you are one of the foolish person in the world. So challenges is accepted. Next day, the crowd has gathered. The wise man came, the boy came. What the boy has done, he has taken a small crawling insect, like an ant, and he was placing in the left hand palm. And he was covering that one with the right hand, completely covered. And he is asking the question whether the ant which I taken, which I kept in between my palms, is dead or alive. Now, if the wise man is going to say it's dead, he's going to set free. If he's going to say it's alive, he's going to crush with the arms and he show the dead insects. Now, what will be the answer? Will come from the wise person. It's very difficult question for him to answer, right?
There is only one option, either dead or alive.
Alive,
for
right?
wise man.
So if he's going to say dead, he will set that ant free. If it is going to say that's alive, he's going to crush with the arm and you show that it's already dead. So you are a fool. So far, see, this much of years, he was taking a name called wise. He was tagged with a name called wise person. Right now, the public has felt for the wise man, he's going to lose his tag. So the answer which the wise man is going to reply to the small boy. So that will be the moral of the story. You have to take this one as your take-home message. Can I reveal it or anyone can say? Faisal, Vijay Babu, Varun, Kala.
So we can reveal. Bala.
Okay, I can reveal it, right? So the message is that, what is this? Everything. What is that? Everything lies in your hand. So now it's up to you. Take this message. It's now in your hands. The aim for you, the motive for you to come here to get knowledge and to get certified, to add this certification in your profile. So right now, the answer which is given by the vice man, the same answer I'm giving to you guys. Everything now lies in your hand. Okay, thank you. All the best for the future endeavors and good night.
Thank you, Bala.
Thank
Thank you
you.
all.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Bala. Yeah,
Thank
thank you all.
Bye.